What is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Chasing Dust. I'm your host, Matt McAdam, your truck editor at Driving Line, and right behind me is King of the Hammers. I'm coming to you guys live from Johnson Valley, California, here in the Mojave Desert, where the King of the Hammers takes place every year. I'm at the junction of Highway 247 and Boone Road, and this is where you make that first turn onto the dirt so that you can make your way down into Hammertown. Now, we're just about 5 days away from the King of the Hammers week starting, and I gotta tell you guys, I am super amped for this year's race. I've been going to King of the Hammers since, I think, 2012 or 13 was my first race. Now, for those of you guys who are new to King of the Hammers, maybe you've heard of it, you've never actually been there, or maybe you've just never even heard of it, I'm going to post a link up here for you guys to watch a video that we put together last year that is a great introduction to what King of the Hammers is all about. So take a look at that video. It's really cool. We did it last year out here on the lake bed, so take a look at that to get a little bit of a better idea. But for the rest of us who know what King of the Hammers is, who've been to this race before, have seen lots of things about it online, it's a unique race here in the California desert, and it's not just a race, it's actually a full week of off-road experiences. I mean, you come out here with your friends, your family, and people just have a great time. Really, one of the most unique aspects of this race is that there is a hub here in the middle of the desert where everything goes down. This is a central meeting spot where all the race operations happen, the vendors come out there, there's food, there's a full infrastructure, and over the years it's actually turned into its own city that's temporarily put up here in the desert, and it's taken down after the race. It's called Hammertown. Very few of us actually know what it takes to put up this temporary city and then take it down, and what it takes to actually make it a successful hub for race operations and everything else that goes on there throughout the week of the race. There's already all kinds of trucks and Jeeps and vehicles pulling in and out of Boone Road, heading into Hammertown, heading out of Hammertown, and all of this is really the people that are behind the scenes who make this event happen every year. They get here weeks before everybody else does, and they stay long after everybody else leaves. So with that being said, my goal here today is to show you guys exactly what it takes to make Hammertown possible, the people that make it possible, all the things that happen, the logistics behind building such an incredible city in the middle of the desert for just a couple of weeks out of the year. So enough of talking about it out here. I'm gonna hop in the van here. You guys saw this from last week's episode. This is the 7.3 diesel van that I just bought. I'm gonna build it into a camper. No, I haven't done anything with it yet, but very soon I'm gonna start modifying this vehicle. For now, it's actually driving pretty nice. It came all the way up the hill here, about a 3-hour drive. So very happy with that. But let's hop in and make our way down Boone Road through the gates of Hammertown and see if we can find some people to talk to. we made our way down to the lake bed. This is a magical feeling for me every time I get to come down Boone Road and see all this stuff here, because you know, I've been to the lake bed before, you know, in the summertime or off season when there's nothing out here, and it's amazing that within just a week or two, all of this infrastructure just comes out of nowhere. So it's pretty crazy to see it happen. I've never been to the Hammers quite this early. This is the first time I'm here before everything else is set up. It's cool to see all the effort and everything that goes into setting up this temporary city in the middle of the desert. All right, so I'm gonna park right here and see if we can go find someone inside. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. What are you doing?
I'm filming a video.
Yeah.
You're on my vlog.
We're here making the vendor and sponsorship and everything, making it roll.
You're just making things happen over here like a week ahead of time, aren't you?
We're working on our branding out on the short course and getting vendors parked and vendors tents where they go and all that stuff.
So this is what you do now. I've known you for a couple of years. Obviously, we've done Baja races together. We've done jamborees up in the Rubicon together. But you're now working in Ultra 4, and you're here at the King of the Hammers. So besides putting up stuff on the race course and doing all the stuff you just mentioned, what else is your role here?
My title is marketing director.
Okay.
So I'm talking to the sponsors, talking to the vendors, talking to everybody that has to do with money. Really.
Yeah. So you're just basically getting the word out from what we're doing out here to all the companies.
Providing the deliverables to the sponsors and making sure we have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted and make sure everything's delivered to the people that we promise things to.
You got a very important job here.
I've got great people working for me too.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, I'm kind of just cruising around and I didn't really quite know what I was going to find out here. I've never been to KOH this early before. So the point of this video is to show people what goes into building Hammertown, because most people don't see the behind the scenes. They get here and the city's already up and everything's already running and it's a full-blown operation. But it's a lot of effort and a lot of work that goes into just putting this city here in the middle of the desert for a couple of weeks and tearing it down. And I wanted to give people a little bit of a glimpse of what that's like.
Yeah,
so
we've got full electricity and light towers and we have water, plumbing, we've got it all.
It's crazy.
We've been here since January 10th and building it.
Wow. So how long have you been here for?
Since January 10th.
You've been here since the 10th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. Yeah. Crazy. Well, you need a vacation when this is all over, don't you?
Definitely do.
Going down to Baja for a couple of weeks.
Take me to Mexico.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to go cruise around and see what else we can find. Right. Appreciate you having the time for us today. So I'm standing in what is normally the media center for King of the Hammers race week, and it's completely empty. I've never seen this room empty before. Every time I'm in here, it's usually a bunch of desks and some cool beanbag chairs and couches and stuff with all kinds of people from all over the off-road media world here covering all the different competitions that will go down on this lake bed here. It's always a buzz of people coming in and out of it. You know, people on their computers, editing photos, editing videos. This is where all of our safety meetings happen for the media team. And it's really interesting to be here when there's nobody in here because it's never empty. So we are in one of the several tents here that are already up. The next one over here is the VIP, the Warren VIP section here, and which is all right next to where the race operations and Hammer King Productions actually goes down in that room right there where we just talked to Scott. Oh, these are some important gentlemen here. Dave, Ryan, how you guys doing?
I think we're doing all right. How you doing, Matt?
Hey,
Good
Dave.
to see you, man.
Good to see you. You guys got a couple of minutes to chat?
Sure.
Cool.
What you got in your mind?
Well, I came down here just to see Hammertown a week before it's actually, all put together and everyone's here. And it's so far been kind of an eye-opening experience to see what goes into putting this whole place together. And with you guys being, in charge of most of the things that happen around here, I think it'd be cool to get a couple of words from you guys on what does it really take to make Hammertown successful?
A lot of really good people.
An armada.
Yeah.
People.
You guys have a lot of good people out here.
35 people or so have been out here since the 10th. So,
yeah,
2 solid weeks before it even opens. And they're killing it. We tend to give them a different project every year, like a new construction project. So, 2 years ago it was the Shaunett's box that we're in right now, our operations trailer, and then this year we added a second floor, so now we have a scoring trailer upstairs.
So you guys, obviously there's a lot of infrastructure and people that are in charge of putting all that together and all that, but I mean, the core idea of Hammertown itself, can you talk to me through about how it started? Is it kind of like a contingency is what it started out as? and then it moved on to this, giant city.
Well, it actually the main reason was because we had to organize the teams camping. And we used to race through Hammertown. There used to be a race course went through it, like through the garage areas, and that was where you pitted during the hot race.
Got it.
Obviously don't do that anymore.
Seems like each year it gets bigger and better, and new features are added onto it, and people kind of get more of the experience of King of the Hammers by just being here at this central hub, outside of everything else you can do out here during the week. So it's pretty cool to see everything kind of come together and see you guys with all your people out here working. And it seems like everyone's on their stuff, and they're working hard, and you can't really get anybody to stop for a minute because they're so busy getting everything done. So
yeah,
we're just ticking.
Yeah, we just had a little curveball with the weather, so we're holding off course marking until the very last second. We're going to try to mark the whole course in 12 hours, which is a little aggressive.
Has
Usually
it
it's
been
a
done?
5 day job. Oh no, never been done that way before.
Wow. Okay.
But we're supposed to get 40-mile-an-hour winds on Wednesday night, so putting everything up today is just going to blow away. You're just wasting your time. So
yeah, that's one of those unknown things is weather when you come out here. Last year it was cold. We had a little bit of snow and rain out here, and this year seems to be warm and dry. Yeah.
Yep, but we're going to get some wind, which is Johnson Valley deal with it.
Yeah, of course.
I think the interesting thing for me is to have been here a few times as more or less a spectator or part of a different crew, and walking the ground and thinking, hey, this is cool, but now seeing it from start to finish is a whole other perspective.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes, stuff that most people will never see, but then you kind of come in here earlier, you stay a little bit late, and you just you get a feel for all the effort that goes into making this a successful week for you guys.
It's a festival. It's much more than just a motorsporting event in today's world, which I think is part of what makes it so special, is that it's for the entire family. There's lots to do, and it's in a place where people love to come and hang out. Yeah, very cool. Well, I've got a bunch of logistics questions, but I'm sure there's people that are better, can use their time better to answer some of those. But
if you want to know real life, this is real life for me.
Cell phone?
About 150 calls a day. So, talk to Chris Bowler, talk to Travis about the cool electronic stuff we do, talk to Simon about volunteers.
Yeah.
Those are the main, we have about 6 people that kind of lead, and 28 or so not volunteers, they're paid workers that come out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and knock it out.
Yeah, and you guys do have volunteers that come out here and help you as well,
volunteers
right?
For race week.
For the race week, yeah.
And we did a job fair in Yucca. We actually hired locals to come out and work with us for the month.
Oh, cool.
But for the actual course workers, that's another 300 volunteers on top of that Simon manages them and lets them know where they're going to work at and gets all their staff assignments handled. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, this is
helicopter fuel and drone insurance certificates and all the stuff that isn't sexy at all, but if we don't do it, can't do it. So.
Right, all the paperwork and everything. That's what makes this event keep going and keep getting bigger. So very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me today, and I'm gonna walk around. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Ryan. Nice to meet you. Yeah, take it easy. All right, well, now that we spoke to the 2 guys in charge, Dave and Ryan, we're gonna head out to the short course here and see if we can talk to John Goodby, who is in charge of putting the infield together. He's actually blading it, and they're cutting the course right now through the dirt. So I'm gonna go see if I can yell at him through his tractor and see if he can spend a couple of seconds with us. What's up, Mr. John Goodby?
How are you?
What's going on, dude?
Oh, you know, for the day.
Yeah, I saw your truck over here. I was like, oh, that's got to be Goodby right there.
Yeah.
So you're out here, I'm assuming, about to hop into a tractor and get some stuff done, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get on the dozer here. We got the second dozer delivered finally right now, so
yeah,
we're busy.
So explain to me, I mean, I know what you do for NorCal, I know what you do for, other races that I've been to, but explain to me what your role here is in Hammertown and what you do here to prepare for this week that's coming up.
Well, the main role here is to get the short course all built, fully prepped, ready to go for the guys.
Yep.
So we start with a flat ground, just like anything else, and we push all the dirt up to where we need to be and make the jumps and the turns.
I put up a little feeler on Facebook earlier this morning asking people, what are some of the things you want to know about Hammertown? And one of the questions that somebody brought up, which is really interesting for me, was what do you guys do to make this look like nothing ever happened after you're done? Because I come out here on an off weekend all the time to go wheeling, and I could never find the initial, start-finish loop right here, and then this bit of the short course. I can see you guys are now building it, but after the race is done, you don't just drive away and leave it.
No, we fully tear it down. We got per our BLM permit, we flagged it to what it was when we got here. So we have much of the insider of the information of that is we have a couple key bushes, desert bushes that are out there. Yeah. And those are our key points that we know, and we keep those alive, and they're here, and they've been here since I started. We've lost some here and there over the time of the years, but There's always a key bush here and there that we know, like from Talladega. There's a set of bushes you can see out there by the Jeeps parked out there. That you know, that's kind of our set. We know Talladega's gonna be somewhere in that area. And then we flatten it out and we put a bunch of water in it and track it and drive up and down and over and sideways and
looks like nothing was
make it look like we were never here.
It's pretty amazing, man. Like, and that's one of those things I never thought about until somebody asked on Facebook earlier this morning. Was, you know, the effort of making, you know, the lake bed look like you guys were never here.
Yeah,
so,
and that's the goal. You know, it's like just like, you know, the normal roll-cow races. You know, we flatten that state park and the same thing for legalities for the state parks for the day users come out there and use. They want a bunch of big jumps we build. So the same thing there. You know, we flatten it out and that way the state or federal government or whoever it is has no liability, and we make, you know, the least amount of imprint as we can.
And then as well as, you know, the parts that you're building up right now, there are parts of this infield here that the cars will eventually start to eat up, you know, some of the dirt here. Do you guys also go over that as well?
Yes.
Even if you guys didn't make it?
Yeah, we'll pretty much smooth out anything we have in this general area, in the fenced off area.
Yeah.
But then we'll prep every day before every race. So every start of every morning, every race, the short course is perfectly, like, the most perfectly groomed track we can provide.
So one question I got to ask, being a pre-runner guy and someone who likes to jump their vehicle here and there, and seeing how these Ultra 4 cars have developed over the years and gotten faster with more suspension travel, and they can take these jumps better and bigger each year. This is purely just like the pre-runner dude and me asking, do you guys make that jump bigger every year?
Sometimes it depends on the year. Sometimes we make them bigger, sometimes we make them smaller.
Okay.
Depends which way we're going. If we're jumping towards the crowd or away from the crowd, we can go to a little bit bigger jumps. But every year we try to make it bigger and better. We're just restricted on space here. The BLM gives us, with the town being as big as it is, we don't have so much space. So maybe one day we'll get some more fence line.
Get a little bit of bigger centers in there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I heard there's going to be a jump competition this year. In the infield here.
Yeah,
so you guys
about that. Yeah, so we're planning for that.
You guys are going to build that jump too?
We'll build it.
I look forward to it. Always a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
You too.
Yeah, I'm going to go cruise around, see who else I can find.
Cool. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, we'll see you. So as the racers finish their race, they make their way through the start-finish gate. They come through here, right here where you'll see the big Nitto arch actually sits right here. And that's how they make their way onto the stage up here, where they talk to the announcers for a few minutes about their race, how it went. The celebrations happen here. Unofficial results are relayed to the crowd, which sits right beyond this this stage here. And that pile of rocks you see right behind the stage over here is where the infamous Tribe 16 bonfire happens. And if you don't know about that, it's kind of like a central hangout spot every night during King of the Hammers, where you're likely to run into some big name racers, some industry professionals, a lot of interesting people, really great conversations about everything from how the race day went to industry news to whatever everyone's doing on their weekends. Pretty cool spot to hang out. All right, so this is the production trailer here. See if we can find anybody in there to talk to.
Really going.
Oh yeah. Howdy. That was bright out here. I'm Matt.
Hi, Travis.
Travis, nice to meet you. Yeah, we're doing a video for Driving Line, basically just showing people the behind-the-scenes effort on what makes Hammertown what it is, and you know, a week early, basically being out here. There's a lot that's going on, but it's crazy to see all this stuff being put together. So I wanted to get a peek in this place and get a lot of really cool stuff in here. So what's your role here?
So my role here is anything that flows an electron or a radio frequency. I'm in charge of everything from all the power being spread out through Hammertown to everything that makes the live show work, to making sure the public Wi-Fi gets turned on. And
oh, so you help us out when we need to text back our loved ones and stuff, or whatever we got to do on the internet. Very cool.
Yeah, including making sure the internet's there for race ops to function and being a backup for other agencies that might need internet.
Cool. So you're like the guy for all this technology stuff, and it all flows through you.
Yeah. Well, there's a team of us. I mean, there's about 8 or 10 of us. I'm the guy in charge of it, so if it goes wrong, I'm the one who gets in trouble.
Right. That's a good way to put it, right? It's never like you don't get the pat on the back, but you always get marked at.
Without the team, I couldn't do it.
So. Awesome. So this is where anybody who's at home watching Ultra 4 Racing on the live stream, this is where you guys distribute that signal and all that. I saw a really big antenna out there that isn't extended yet, but is that what you guys throw up there to get the signal, or?
Well, there's a couple. There's a couple on the roof of this truck that's where the internet comes in from, and then there's an antenna tower up there that will extend up to about 50 or 60 feet. And we use that to bring video in from some of the closer locations within the valley. We just need to get above everything in order to do that.
Yeah. And do you guys communicate with all the drones that are out there to get the feed from them as well?
Yeah, so the only drones that are allowed out there are the ones that are authorized by us.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so some of those drones, they'll be doing TV footage or other media footage working for us. The other ones, yes, we'll get a live feed off of them, and that's how we get, and this equipment's how we get that live feed back into this trailer. That's
cool. And then from here it goes on the website and Facebook Live and all that cool stuff. Yeah. And that's really one of the things that, I mean, I've been following King of the Hammers since 2012 or so, but one of the things that's really made this competition so much better, so much cooler, different from all the other ones I've been to, like the Mint 400, Raw 1000, you know, the Dakar Rally, all the stuff that you can think of out there on this scale, is that you can literally sit on your couch at home and watch the race. And that's really, really unique to King of the Hammers. And that's because of what you do here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's an awesome job.
Yeah, this year we have 8 remote camera guys and I think 14 camera positions.
Yeah. For
pretty much every single race.
Yep.
So we'll have coverage from one end of the race course to another with very few breaks in action.
Very cool. Very cool. That's what our fans love to see. It's what I love to see. I'm usually running around here. I don't even get to watch the race, so it's cool to go home sometimes and kind of watch some of the stuff, some of the highlights that come from the cameras that come through this building right here. So that's awesome, man. Well, is there, you guys are here, what, 3 weeks ahead of time, 2 weeks ahead of time?
Well, most of us get here right around January 10th.
Okay.
So, however long ago that was, it's almost 4 weeks in January.
That seems like the date everyone's been telling me today is that they got here on the 10th.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then we'll work race week, and by February 14th, the lake bed's all clean and everything's pulled up, and it's like we were never here.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. That's that quickly you guys get in and out of here. Yeah. Well, awesome, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. You got an important job here, but I appreciate you spending a couple minutes with me.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was super cool. Especially for me, because I've seen that trailer there every year that I've been coming to King of the Hammers, and I've never been inside of it before. And it was really neat to see all the equipment they have in there and all the electronics that it takes to, you know, send a signal from all the different cameras out here along the lake bed, capturing the race as it's happening, and send it up via microwave to, you know, to the internet, and then getting it distributed on Facebook Live, the Ultra 4 live feed, all the places online that you can go and watch this race from the convenience of your own home. So quite the operation they have going on here, and it's really the first of its kind. So really cool to see these guys continuing to put in that effort and make it better and better every year. Okay, we're gonna see if we can find Mr. Bowler in here. His RV. Knock knock, Mr. Bowler.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
You alright?
I heard you're the guy to talk to around here.
No problem at all.
I'm Matt.
No problem at all. Hey Matt, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, yeah.
Grab a seat.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So, this is a nice RV you got over here. They got you set up nice.
Well, we hire these from Apollo down in LA.
Yeah.
And I've been coming out here 4 years now, and I've had one of these for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So to be fair, it's not.
It's a nice rental though. I've had a couple of rentals that weren't so nice.
Yeah, it can be a little bit sketchy.
Yeah. So I'm out here a week early, just kind of talking to everybody who's in charge around, you know, the operations, the things that go on out here.
No problem.
And wanted to talk to you about what you do here in Hammertown, what your role is, and what does it take to have a successful hub for the race throughout the week.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I've been coming out to Hammertown for the last 4 years, and the first year I came out just as a volunteer.
Yeah.
Dave asked me to come out and just help on the ground, so I basically got a good grounding in burying cables, putting up tents, working out where everything goes, and putting that whole jigsaw puzzle together, which is Hammertown.
Yeah.
And then the second and third years I came out, I had more of a sort of a managerial role, to the extent that this year now, with myself and Camo, we basically manage the manpower, the core staff, the non-contracted core staff, to basically, from the moment we arrive on the lake bed, plan and liaise with the contractors to put the facilities in, the outside fence, the tentage, manage the equipment that we need to be able to do that, so the UTVs, the power company equipment, and then that manpower basically builds over a period of about 4 weeks. We build the facility that is Hammertown.
Yeah, it's incredible. So all the infrastructure that's put up here, it goes through you and Camo, and you guys basically tell everybody where to put everything, and you're connecting the dots here.
That's right. I mean, to be fair, there are other staff. Simon Sains is obviously responsible for the liaison with the teams, making sure that the team garage pits are marked out, making sure that the teams are allocated their pits, and then obviously he will deal with the tent company to make sure they get their relevant pits in space.
He's on my hit list too, so I gotta go talk to him.
That's right.
Yeah.
But in terms of actual facilities management, we're for example planning where all the staff RVs are. We've got to use only the amount of space we've been allocated.
Right.
Because you can imagine every inch of Hammertown is pretty much spoken for.
Used up,
And we've got to be able to manage that space so that people aren't parking where they shouldn't be. Certain facilities are open to the public, like the VIP tent and the media tent. So obviously those places have got to be carpeted. The tent's got to be put up, power put in them, and that manpower to do that is got to be managed, and you've got to try and work out an order so that you don't end up moving stuff too many times before it actually ends in the right place.
Yeah, and you're also in charge of making sure these guys are getting breaks, they're getting waters, they're getting their lunches. It's a full-blown job, you know?
Exactly, you know, and tying in with caterers. I mean, for the first 2.5 weeks we've been here, they've been catering up at the ranch. Now that the catering is installed, and again, we've been fitting we put a full in-the-field kitchen here. You know, we've got tables and chairs laid out in the catering area. It sounds like, well, it's only tables and chairs, but when you've got 50, 60 other jobs going on during the same part of the day, you've got to be able to plan it in.
Absolutely.
And of course, at the same time, that same core staff, certain members of that staff are also out marking race course, checking places that need to be marked, building snow fence to stop spectators from migrating into the wrong areas. So that manpower is getting pulled in all different directions
to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you've got to be able to manage the resource that is manpower. They are the most important people here. You know, and make sure they're fed, make sure they're watered, make sure their RV grey tank and black tanks are sucked out, make sure they've got propane, but also keeping it pretty cost effective, because at the end of the day there is a budget to do this, but it isn't you know, if money was no option, you know, it'd be
you don't
different.
have carte blanche here to just do whatever you want.
We've got to make it work within a budget and within the time frame.
Sure. Yeah, well that's incredible. I mean, that sounds like a lot of work to do out here, especially with the time you guys have. And so if I were to ask you a few questions about the logistics of Hammertown, would you be able to answer those?
I can give it a go.
So as far as the acreage of this place, the fenced-in acreage, has it grown over the years, or has it pretty much remained the same and you guys have been getting tighter and tighter between the spaces?
In the 4 years that I've been coming here, the fence line is more or less the same. I think last year we measured about 2.1 miles as an outer perimeter, if you were to walk all the way around the outside. About 2.1 miles. There are parts of Hammertown that have grown, and obviously as the event becomes more popular, as more teams compete, you run out of a certain amount of footprint, and you've got to expand to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, that expansion is more or less within what we've been now. Dave would be in a better position to be able to say, well, we're going to go out that way next year, or we're going to go that way. But certainly in my 4 years, it's more or less the same area.
So the reason I ask is because I've been coming out of this event since about 2012, and I've always been able to navigate my way through Hammertown as if it's the city I grew up in. And because everything's pretty much remained in the same location for the most part. You know, you'll see vendors moving spots here and there, but you know where all the vendors are, you know where the food is going to be, you know where the restrooms are at, you know where the VIP tent is, and the media tent. And it's amazing to me because I'm local to King of the Hammers, to the Hammers here, and it's interesting for me to come out here on an off weekend when there's no one here, and it's like you would never know that there's a city here. So it's really, really something that you have to, I guess, experience for yourself to come out here when there's nothing out here. And then when you're out here during Hammers Week, it's like magic, like poof, this whole town is just here. And to us who aren't here a week ahead of time or weeks ahead of time, it's like someone snapped their fingers and this place just shows up
and it's arrived.
That's
I've had people say to me, back in UK where I come from, and obviously we've got a pretty big following of Ultra 4 back in UK. Ultra 4 Europe runs a set of 4 events across the year. We've got race car drivers from all over Europe, and some of those guys have not been to Hammers, and they say, oh, what's it like? And Jim Marsden and I always joke, you cannot explain what it's like. If you try and explain it, you'll never be able to.
Fall short. Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
You know, to say that we build a city in the middle of the desert, we run races for 7 days, and we manage nearly 500 race teams. We manage 50, 60, 70,000 people through the gate. You know, spectators, all that whole thing.
Media, all that.
You couldn't explain it unless you've actually seen it. And
it's
to be
incredible.
fair, if you want to know about it, you've got to come and see it.
Yeah, no, that's a great reason for anybody who hasn't been out here to come out here.
Yeah.
So I got one last question for you. How do you do it?
There's plenty of spreadsheets.
All spreadsheets? You keep yourself organized and on the radio all day long? And
yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, I mean, there are guys that work within the core staff that have got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
There's individuals that have been, obviously Dave's been here from the very first.
Sure.
And that, pulling that experience out from those guys that have been, you know, consistently coming each year. I mean, to say I've only been here 4 years, and I feel that I've got a fairly good handle on it. And again, sometimes you try and do a job one way and maybe it could be better, and then therefore the next year you go, right, we did it that way last year, we're going to try and do it better this year.
Yeah.
Just to be able to make it more streamlined, more cost effective. And indeed, some of the things that we're putting in place this year are trying to make that passage for the race car driver between arriving at the main gate, coming right the way through qualifying, through racing, booking in, checking in, going through tech and contingency. We're trying to look at more streamlined ways so that they have less time having to do things and more time being able to speak with their sponsors, speak with their team guys, plan their racing, because ultimately that's what they will come to do.
Yeah, the things that are important.
Trying to streamline that whole experience so that they get the maximum amount of time to do what they want to do and the best, the shortest period of time to do what they have to do, like getting their cars teched, you know, making sure that, you know, the briefings and things like that.
Yeah, crossing their T's, dotting their I's.
It is, it's keeping a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah,
but
and that's with all this other stuff continually adding on to Hammertown every year. It's never, you know, stagnant. Every year there's something new. Every year there's a new attraction. There's another reason to come out here, as if you needed another reason to come out here.
Totally agree.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate you spending some time, and I'll let you get back to work. You're a busy guy.
No problem at all.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Looks like some of the teams are already here with their race cars. That's a good bonus point for you guys if you're here this early, 5 days ahead of the event, with your race car in your tent. Nice job. Campbell race team is already here on site. What's going on, guys? You guys are a little early. That's good. Good to see you guys out here. I'm leaving, but I'll be back on Saturday, so I'll see you guys. Yeah. You got a nice RV, man.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a wreck, but yeah.
You sharing with a couple guys?
Just one guy.
Just one? Oh, lucky you. Yeah. I'm Matt, by the way.
Simon.
Officially meet. Nice to meet you. I was talking to a few guys earlier. I was talking to Bowler about all the stuff that he does around here. You're in charge of the race teams and all of what they're...
basically I'm in charge of crewing all the data of where they want to be.
Okay.
And then putting them out, you know, laying the pit areas out.
The map for where they're going to be at.
Where they're going to be at. And
sure.
All of that. And then that rolls into tents. I liaise with the tent company and get all the tent orders in and accrue all that information. My job is a lot of spreadsheets.
So a lot of computer work.
Yeah. A lot of spreadsheets, a lot of computer work.
Cool.
Yeah.
So are you... So can you walk me through like a typical, I guess, a process? It doesn't have to be the entire thing, but like from the point of like where you get a registered team and then to when they actually pull in here with their truck and trailer and figure out where they have to go.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Basically, they register online. They purchase their entry fee and registration and everything else they need. And at that point, they also register for a garage spot. That comes to me. I then see that they've registered for a garage spot, and when they do that, they fill out a form which comes to me, tells me what they want to achieve with their garage spot, where they want to be, and then basically I sit there and I have 400 drivers and I have to make everyone happy. So it's the case of putting them where they want to be, but next to Jim, but not next to Bob. And I want to
they can actually request who they want to be next to?
They can request who they want to be next to.
You guys are nice, man.
Because then you get, like, I've got one group out there is a group of probably about 12 drivers, which I had to locate into one area. So that's kind of what happens then.
Yeah.
They then order a tent online through us. And again, they fill out a form. The form comes to me. I get all the data, and then I go through and just make another big spreadsheet of all the data, liaise with the tent company, and get the tents on the ground in the locations drivers want.
So do you actually have a drawn out map of the lake bed or of Hammertown itself?
We get a GPS survey done.
Okay.
A GPS survey has been done already, and that's how we plot out Hammertown by GPS.
Okay.
And then we get a nice big map from that, which allows me to locate tents,
figure out where they're going,
figure out where everything's going.
How long have you been doing this for?
I've been around Ultra 4 since 2010.
Okay, so a long time, 10 years.
I was one of Dave's original interns in 2012.
Okay.
When he asked for 4 people to just come out and work for free for a couple of weeks. And I was one of the original interns, and then that developed into me volunteering at events, and eventually Dave offered me a job.
Awesome.
And I worked through with Dave till about 2016. Then I left Ultra 4 for a couple of years. I had family I had to take care of at home, take care of my kid. And then Dave asked me back in 2018, so I came back.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to
the other thing I do is the volunteers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please.
So I'm the volunteer coordinator, along with, I also have some help from a lady called Jess. She helps me out as well. Basically, I put a call out to all previous volunteers back in October. This starts. And I basically, using social media and existing email addresses we have, we just go out and try and get as many volunteers as we can. And this year we're looking at about 400 volunteers across Race Week.
Wow, that's incredible.
Again, it's a lot of spreadsheet work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of forms. They fill out a lot of forms. They come to me. I accrue all the data. Then I sit down with Dave and we work out where he needs people and how many. And then I sit there and basically plot people into their spots. So
you're distributing manpower where it needs to be at.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's an interesting job itself. I mean, but the fact that you get to deal with the people who come out here out of the kindness of their heart just because they want to, that's pretty amazing, right?
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, to work with those kinds of people. Being one yourself at one point, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And this year we changed the process a little bit, and I actually emailed and phone called every person who is in a key position.
Awesome.
So I sent out probably close to 200 emails, and probably close to 150 phone calls.
Wow.
Just to various people to make sure that they're happy with where they are and that they're still coming and all of that.
Well, I mean, making that personal connection, that's where, this whole community started out, was a very small and tight-knit community.
Yep.
So although it's expanded to such a huge reach, with competitions happening across the country, across the globe, that sense of camaraderie and family has still been retained.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the most important things about Ultra 4 racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have volunteers coming who volunteered at the first race.
They're back every year.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I'm sure you guys are getting new people every year too, right?
Yeah, we attract a lot of new people every year. People who've never even been to the Hammers want to come out and volunteer.
And that's one of the things that has been interesting for me too, is if I hadn't been working in the off-road industry during my first year at the Hammers, I think the way that I would have gotten myself involved with off-road racing to begin with would be to volunteer at the race.
Right.
So I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people, their inroads to this industry, actually eventually working in the industry and getting a paid job here, is to start out by volunteering.
Yep. I would agree with that.
And you did the same thing, right?
I did the same thing.
You're living proof of that.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of people out there who are, wondering. I'll turn the camera here, but there's a lot of guys that ask me, how do I get started in off-road? Because I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I get a lot of young kids asking me, how did you get your start? How did you get into this industry? Did you know somebody? Did you work somewhere? And, I worked for a shop that had a race team here 8 years ago, and I was doing pits and stuff like that. And I was doing all the dirty work by filling the gas tanks and everything for everybody.
Yep.
But one of the easiest ways for you to be able to, get your foot in the door and meet all these people who are behind the scenes and people like Simon here, is to volunteer. So it's important for them to do that. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys still have openings for volunteers for this year's race?
We still have some openings, We're always looking for more people to help.
Sure. I saw a post, I think it was last week, that said you guys needed some people for a couple of days later in the week.
We're still looking for...
Still are.
Yeah.
So can you give our viewers... This is going to go live tomorrow, so it's going to be up before the race and before people get here. Can you give them them the easiest way to get a hold of you, or how do they?
The easiest way is
apply?
to email volunteers@ultra4.com.
Okay, so volunteers@ultra4.com.
Yep.
I'll drop that in the description for the video.
Or they can fill out a form at ultra4.com/volunteer-us.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So you guys heard that. And then what exactly do the volunteers do? Are they on race operations?
There's a lot of different things they can do, but basically there's experienced volunteers get put in a little bit more of a high-profile situation, so they might be doing remote pit work or checkpoints or stop checks. We also have course marshals who are there to just ensure the safety of spectators who are near the course and vehicles on the course. And then road crossings, where there's a known road crossing, we have people managing that. We don't stop people crossing the course, but we manage when they can cross the course.
Got it. Okay. So make sure it's safe to cross, and those are the guys who are standing there and they're looking both ways and making sure that you're getting to go across.
And then the big one is crowd control. We need a lot of help at the spectator areas just to keep everyone nice and safe and behind the barriers and all of that fun stuff.
Right, because that's what keeps this event going, right? The safety. Yeah. Cool. Do the volunteers have to have an off-road vehicle to volunteer?
Not necessarily. You can get around if you don't have an off-road vehicle, but you say have a high clearance SUV, you can still get to the places we need you.
Okay, cool.
And in exchange for volunteering, every year we do an exclusive T-shirt just for the volunteers.
There you go.
So they get a shirt no one else is ever going to get.
Yeah.
And then we have a massive raffle on the Thursday evening meeting, and we give away sets of tires, beadlock wheels, winches. I mean, it's huge. All the vendors kick in a huge amount.
Cool.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of really good reasons for people to come out here and help out. And one of them really is just getting involved in this community. So, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I wouldn't imagine my life being any other way. So I've met some of my best friends through Ultra 4, through off-road racing. So this is a good way to get into that.
Exactly the same, yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. You got a lot of work ahead of you for this week. So
just a bit.
Bounce out of here.
Okay.
But yeah, it was good talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. So that was really cool, being able to talk to all the different pivotal people here in Hammertown who are the faces behind the names, the guys who get everything done, the guys who are here helping out both the racers, the spectators, and for everybody who comes out here to enjoy the King of the Hammers experience. These are the men and women who put it on. A lot of them do this out of the goodness of their heart. A lot of them are volunteers. Some of them are parts of staff who started out as volunteers, as you heard from Simon. There's just so much effort that goes into putting this event together, and it would never happen without the people who make it happen. And I don't just mean the guys who are at the top of the ladder, but everybody who has a hand in everything that has to go into Hammertown here, putting this city together literally in a matter of weeks, and then taking it down as if nothing was ever here again. It's pretty incredible to see, and these are the people that we have to thank for that. It's because of their efforts, and it's because of their passion that we get to do this every year. And as a member of the off-road racing media myself, being able to come out here and have a comfortable place to work out of, the media tent, which is in the middle of Hammertown, having a hot meal 3 times a day for the 7 or 8 days that I'm here. That's thanks to the catering truck that's here that these guys have come out, and they actually make the menus and make sure everything is good. We never get the same food twice in the whole week. I mean, it's pretty incredible the amount of work that goes into making sure that people's experience here is one that is so great that they can't wait to get home and tell all their friends and family about it and bring everybody back out here the year after that. If you guys haven't come out to King of the Hammers, I encourage you to come out here one year, even if it's just for a few nights. Just experience it. And you can't see it all in a day, so don't try to just sneak in here in the morning and sneak out in the afternoon. That's not how it works. Please hit that subscribe button below. We got a lot more cool videos for you guys, especially during Hammers Week. So if King of the Hammers, if off-road racing is your kind of thing, you definitely want to hit that subscribe button. But for right now, I'm going to head home and get ready for the week coming up ahead. Live from Hammertown, USA, Desert Chief is out. I'll see you guys on the next one.